What's up, Mortgage Coach community? I am having a first-time interview with Kyle Wright. I'm excited to hear his story. He's winning with real estate agents. I know he's killing it with sales Boomerang leads. So Kyle, I know you're with American First Pacific. If you could tell us a little bit about what market you're in, a little bit about your production levels, and then let's get into how you're winning in this market.
Yeah, so I've been with American Pacific Mortgage since December of 2016. So I just hit my, or 2015. So I just hit my 7-year mark with them. When I came on board, I had done 2 transactions in about 6 months. So it was they took a big leap of faith bringing me on because I didn't have much to show when I first showed up. And we finished this last year with 312 units for 131 million in my personal production, and our team did 397 million for 166 million.
Dude, that is spectacular. So congratulations. I mean, that last year was a tough year. What did you do in 2021? You know, how did 22 compare to 21?
So in 2021, my personal production was 370 units for 138 million.
So pretty, I mean, compared to the industry that's down by a half, you know, you are killing it, man. So congratulations on
Yeah, I mean, we definitely saw a small decrease for sure, but not some of the same decreases that most of the industry was experiencing. And part of that is because I'm heavily focused on my realtor relationships and purchase business. So last year was 95% purchase business. And in 2021, I was still 80% purchase business, even with the refi boom.
Nice. Well, let's start with data, because the fact that you are such a purchase first loan officer, but yet data is such a priority. I want to hear how you're leveraging sales Boomerang, why you're leveraging it, and how you're doing it, and then let's transition to some of the best strategies you're using to support your agents.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things with sales Boomerang is we get notified of credit inquiries and different things like that. And so one of the biggest things that we learned was that when we're out there purchasing leads, we're purchasing leads that are being triggered by credit inquiries. So if we're getting those notifications that our clients have a credit inquiry that's not with us, they're being contacted by every other bank as well. So why not have them be contacted by us? They're getting calls from 11 different banks the minute they get their credit check. So why not have a 12th lender calling them, being someone that they know? And that it could be as simple as a phone call, a text message, an email, a video sent to them, just like, hey, just want to check back in with you. I want to make sure that you're doing okay. Things like that. We don't always let them know that like the second they got notified. I mean, sometimes they ask us and we tell them, because they're getting phone calls from lots of different other lending companies as well. So why not have us be one of those lending companies that's reaching out to them?
I love that. So you're making sure that when you get insights, you're calling, and one of the things I'm hearing from the community of loan officers that I'm talking to is there, when they are getting some alerts, they're also giving the realtor a heads up. If that was a loan that was referred by a realtor. I assume you're also getting listing alerts. I know a lot of loan officers are with listing alerts. They're creating seller buy down analysis and say, hey, let me show you how I can help you sell that home faster.
Yeah.
With a total cost analysis. Are you taking any of the alerts you're getting and bringing that value back to your agents? And if you're doing that, how are you doing it?
Yeah. So one of the things is, I get the alerts in the morning. So I review through my alerts and make sure that I'm going, okay, so I got an alert for Alyssa. I know Alyssa worked with my real estate agent, Jake. So I'm reaching out to Alyssa first thing in the morning saying, hey, Alyssa, just checking in with you. I reach out either phone call or a text message. And then I'm also texting Jake and saying, hey, Jake, just to let you know, Alyssa had her credit checked and it wasn't by me. So we might want to, hop on that. Either she's trying to refinance, which in this market is probably not what she's trying to do, but she might be trying to, get pre-qualified to sell her house and go buy a new one. So it might be a good time for you to reach out to her as well. And so I'm making sure that my agents are in the loop on what I'm doing as well, because it's important to me that we've created a relationship between me and my agents, that we are a team. We're not just, oh, he's my lender. We're a partnership. We make sure that we are reaching out to these clients, that they're feeling like they're part of our family. So when I'm reaching out to Alyssa, I'm also letting Jake know, like, hey, Jake, I'm reaching out to Alyssa for this reason. You might also want to do the same.
Guys, this is important. I hope everybody gets a takeaway here, guys. You need to turn your database into a data bank. You're hearing from one of the top loan officers with a very large lender, and one of the absolute top loan officers there, who had a relatively flat year. Last year, I interviewed, I don't know if you know this loan officer, if you watched this interview, but Myron Chamberlain, and he is the #1 loan officer with Prime. And you know what these two have in common? They're turning their database into a data bank. And one of the takeaways when I interviewed him here was that he calls all of his alerts between 8 and 9 in the morning. Like, you got to be speed to lead. Yep. And he has this just rhythm, like, hey, the alerts come in, I'm on it. My guess is you have a similar rhythm, that you're starting your day with, what are the signals in my database? Let's go get them. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I mean, every morning, like I said earlier, like every single morning, I wake up and I check my sales boomerang. And it's very rare that I go a whole day without getting an alert in the morning. And so I check through them. And at the end of the week, I also check through my most recent 7 days, and I try to hit these up again. Because at the end of the day, I focus heavily on real estate agents, and we buy a lot of leads. So, and I also buy a lot of leads as well. And one of the biggest focuses I have is I buy leads, I get the name, I get the phone number, I get the email, and I get the social. And with those information into Encompass and into the CRM, I now get triggers on Sales Boomerang. So if I have a social, I'm getting those triggers. Well, if I'm getting those triggers and I'm not calling and doing any actions once I have those triggers, I'm wasting money. I don't like wasting money. So we like to make sure that once we have all that information in there, that we are reaching back out, because there are going to be clients that you talk to a lot, and there's going to be clients you don't talk to a lot. And this is another way that these data points are coming back to you. I mean, I already bought all these leads. These are my clients. They're my leads. And this is the Sales Boomerang is a crucial piece that allows me to monitor what my clients and my leads are doing when I'm not around. And it's a great piece that I can go back and say, hey, I got to reach out to Alyssa. I haven't talked to her in 6 months. She just got her credit check with someone else. I need to make sure that I'm reaching out to her, because that's a lead that I did pay for. And then I'm working with a real estate agent. I need to be showing that I'm working that lead as well.
I love it. So real quick, guys, I'm going to put a link to this in chat below, but this is my LinkedIn article that launched the 6 trends of $100 million producers. And I'm going to show you how Kyle is achieving these. But go and read this, and I'll put a link down below. But we are in a new era, the data-driven advice era, where we need to be monitoring data. And then when we meet with consumers, we need to be showing them data around, hey, this is why it's time to buy your first home. Hey, this is why it makes sense to still buy that move-up home, even though you've got a 2% or 3% rate. They're turning databases into data banks. I talked about realtor leadership. Guys, if you want to win with realtors, talk about how you're leveraging your database. Like, we're finding a lot of Sales Boomerang mortgage professionals are actually getting realtors to give them their database, because realtors can't monitor the database the way a loan officer can monitor a database. Like, as a real estate agent, their database is more valuable in your database if you're a data-driven mortgage professional. By the way, I saw you smile when I said that. Are you getting any realtors to give you your database?
We are winning real estate agent relationships, because we'll meet with agents, and the second we tell them that we're monitoring our clients, they're like, you're monitoring them? How do we get access to that? Well, you get access to it by using us, and we'll monitor it for you. And then we'll reach back out to you when that has been, triggered for you. And so we actually just picked up, I met with a new real estate group in November, And the real estate group I met with in November, they had none of this with their previous lender. And I was talking about all the other bells and whistles that we offer. And then I touched on this one, and he went from uninterested to interested really quick because they have a massive database and they want to be monitoring just like we are as well. And so that was a crucial piece that turned him from his previous lender of 15 years to working with us versus working with this other lender because we offered that.
So check this out, guys. I've shared this a few times on recent interviews, so anyone that's heard me tell this story before, but it's fresh off the press from last week. This was a 20-year real estate agent. Her name was Thomasina Landon. She's been a realtor for 20 years, and I spoke to a large group of loan officers on Zoom, and she was one of the realtors in the room. And so I gave this, 6 mega trends of $100 million producers. And at the end, we had like a few minutes of Q&A, and she raised her hand and she said, hey, I've been a real estate agent for 20 years. On 12/20, so like several weeks ago, right, week before Christmas, first time in my career as an agent, top producer, I had 3 escrows fall out. And she goes, and that's never happened because it's no longer good enough to pre-approve someone. She's like, you need to pre-approve them, and you need to make sure you're using data to make them, close escrow. Now, she said one of them, it was just a situational thing, like no advice from a loan officer could have saved this. It was a situation that was unavoidable. But 2 of them, she said, it really needs a new type of loan officer. And she said, one of the things I was thinking about listening to you talk, she said, all the loan officers I've worked with, and I had some really loyal relationships up until several months ago, I don't work with them anymore. She goes, I didn't know about MortgageCoach and Sales Boomerang, but she goes, after hearing you present, the loan officers I'm using now are using MortgageCoach and Sales Boomerang because those are the loan officers that are going to help me get more referrals from a database. Those are the loan officers that are delivering education to the consumer so that the consumer understands the value of homeownership. She's like, so the message to everyone before we wrap this up, every realtor in America is up for grabs, because if they're only working with a loan officer and they're not working with a Sales Boomerang powered, MortgageCoach powered loan officer who can deliver more value and solve more problems, they're up for grabs. So do you see that? Like, do you feel like it's never been a better time to recruit real estate agents?
Oh, I mean, right now is an awesome time to be recruiting real estate agents. Not only through this tool, Boomerang, which every realtor, the minute they hear that you can monitor your clients, they're sold. They want that because they're buying data right now. Why do you buy leads? You buy leads so that way you have a database. I mean, we have 50,000 leads, 50,000 clients, 50,000 pieces of information that we can fall back onto, but we continue to buy leads. It's not just so much that the minute they reach out to us, we're, connecting with them. We need to be connecting with them in a year, 2 years, 3 years. Well, how are we doing that? It's not possible for me to connect with 50,000 people every single day or every other week or anything like that. It's just not possible. So I have to do things that monitor them, that touch them, that continue to follow up with them without me doing it. It's automation. And Sales Boomerang automates the ability for me to watch and see what's going on, and then the credit checks and the inquiries and things like that, so I can reach back out to them. But it's that, and then it's being able to know what to do with that. Okay, I monitor it, but are you contacting the real estate agent? Are you reaching out to the client? Like, if you're monitoring, you're not doing anything, then you're wasting money. And so the other thing is that right now it's easy to recruit based on that tool, and deals are hard right now. They are super tough. I still get, grade A clients, but right now we're dealing with a lot of clients that need a little bit of credit repair, or they need a lot of concessions, which we're getting all these concessions, or they need down payment assistance programs. And it's more now than it was previously, because now they're having a better opportunity to buy. But a lot of lenders that got in over the last couple of years, they don't know how to do that. They don't know how to structure a tough deal. And so if you know how to structure a tough deal, and you have the data behind you, and that you're monitoring and you're following up, and you've got the systems in play, you can snag real estate agents so easily. It's not that difficult to reach out to them and be like, this is what I'm offering. this is what I can do for you as part of it. I can structure hard deals. I can put together deals other lenders can't put together. And I'm monitoring your clients and making sure that your database is protected as well.
So before we wrap up, I want to go tactical real quick. One, I want to hear your scripting with realtors. So when you're talking about, hey, we're monitoring your database, and they're like seeing it as a value prop, in some cases giving you their database, what does that sound like? How do you say it?
So like when I'm meeting with someone, we're going over all of the different things that we can offer, and we'll say like, hey, we have this awesome system that allows us to take your client's information and continue to monitor them. So even though you are doing your follow-ups and your touches, you can't always see what your clients are doing. But with the system, we can see what the clients are doing. We can see when they're getting their credit checks. We can see when they're listing their houses. We can get these alerts of what they're doing that you can't get if you're not constant communication with them all the time, or if you're living next door to them. You're trying to do follow-up, but like, this is also a key to your follow-up, is that you have these alerts to what your clients are doing. And so when they hear that we have these alerts that let us know what their clients are doing, they're like, oh my gosh, I need to know what they're doing. Perfect. Let's get you signed up. Let's get your database over. So that way we can continue to start monitoring them and taking that information. And when we get notified, we'll notify you as well.
And give me real quick your scripting when you call a credit inquiry alert. What do you say? Like, what's the flow? Ring, ring.
Well, ring, ring. Hey, Alyssa, this is Kyle with American Pacific Mortgage. I don't know if you remember what we chatted a few months ago, or we closed on a loan for you back in 2019. I'm calling to check in on you, see how things are going. It's a new year. I just want to see how I can help you. And usually she'll be like, oh, well, actually, I'm looking at buying a new house. Oh my gosh, wonderful. Well, I have everything from your previous house. You want to just tell me what's going on with your income, and I can get your stuff updated right away. And she's like, really? It's that easy? Yeah, it can be that easy. You might need a couple documents, but your application's already done. All I have to do is update if anything's changed with your income, any other situations that's changed with you. I'll get it updated and I'll have your pre-qualification done for you in an hour. And usually they're like, wow, it'll be that fast. I'm like, it'll be that fast. You might need to send me some docs, but it'll be that quick on my end for sure. And so
Kyle,
something like that.
Love it. So Kyle, I want to have you as a guest either on our Tuesday interview that I do every Tuesday at 9, or Friday, and just have a full top producer interview. So, one, this I think is hugely valuable. Any loan officer that watched this, I'm sure they got inspiration. I'm sure they got some value. They got a couple strips. If you guys have questions that you want me to ask Kyle next time, if you're watching this on YouTube, put those down below, and we'll make sure any more questions you have get built into the next conversation we have. I do want to remind everybody watching this, guys, I'm getting scripts of what loan officers do all the time. I'm going to put a link down below to an article with more scripts. But here's the most important thing of all, is that Kyle is showing up, and he's showing up consistently. It's not like, oh, one day I'm calling my database insights and one day I'm not, 1 week I'm on it, 1 week I'm not. He's being consistent. He's showing up first thing. Speed to lead, guys. We could talk about conversion. We collaborated with Dale Vermillion and created an amazing sales training program. By the way, I'll put a link down below. It's called Meet the Market, and it's actual sales training on sales Boomerang leads and sales training on using MortgageCoach. So link down below for that. But most importantly, it's showing up. It's making the call. Kyle, any closing thoughts, knowing that you've got thousands of your peers checking you out right now? Anything you want to close out with?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's constantly showing up. I mean, sometimes I talk to people and they're like, man, I just don't know how you do so many loans, or, how you're converting the way that you're converting in this market, how you're dealing with the interest rates being so high. And it's being here every day. I'm in the office all day, every day. I take calls on Saturday, I take calls on Sundays. My agents know it. I'm always available. And it's constantly showing up and finding ways to get around problems. You've got a problem, that interest rate's high. How do we get around it? Well, we got a temporary buy down, 2-1 buy down. Our interest rates are high. Well, sellers are offering concessions. Let's go get you as much concessions as we possibly can to make it now worth it for you. It's not just so much of taking a oh, it's not going to work. I mean, and this is sales training, like, oh, I just don't know if it's the right time to buy. Well, it's about being creative and coming up with tactics. And one thing that I do is I'm very, very close with my agents. I will do a three-way call with the client and the agent to be like, how are we going to get you in a home? Well, you need your payment here. Okay, well, let's do this. How about you put down less money so that way we can afford a little bit higher monthly payment, and you supplement that by keeping some of your money back. And that's how we're combating the higher interest rates and high purchase prices and the extremely high monthly payments in comparative to what they were in 2021. And it's about being creative and working with the people around you and the tools you have to do it. I mean, you need to be partnering with your real estate agents on a team level, not just so much that you're a lender. Like I have my agents that come in the door and said, hey, Bob wants a phone call today to figure out what he can do. Cool. Let's get on a three-way and let's figure it out together. And that's basically what we do.
So I can't wait for our bigger interview coming up. Another thing that struck me is when you are consistent and you do the same thing over and over, you get really good at it, you know, and you get good at that script. You get good at having the 2-1 buy down seller concession conversation with folks. And guys, we are in a market. It's going to be a decade where loan officers and realtors are having the conversation with move up buyers. Yeah, I know you got a 2 or 3% loan, but look at how you can grow your net worth faster. Look at how you can achieve financial freedom faster. You can't sell loans and rates in this market. And it's going to be a decade. I mean, first-time home buyers, they're smart. They know how to Google. They use online to learn. And if you're not smarter than Google, like if you don't have the local data, if you're not monitoring databases, if you're not giving a mortgage coach total cost analysis, the loan officers that are going to take your market share. So it's a fun time here at Mortgage Coach and Sales Boomerang because we're powering data-driven mortgage professionals. I want to push you all to get trained. I want to remind you that Day Over Millions Meet the Market is a great program. And then I am creating cost-free content for loan officers every week. We're interviewing top producers. Earlier, I interviewed a top executive. So whether you need leadership or whether you need best practices and inspiration, you know, make sure you follow us on social media. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Kyle, dude, we will schedule the next one via email, and I really appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Hey, by the way, I didn't catch what market are you in? What city are you in?
So my branch is in Chandler, Arizona.
Oh, cool. So you compete a little bit with Amber Kovark there, probably. She's a mortgage coach there. I've interviewed her a few times.
Yeah, no, it's there's a lot of mortgage coach users down here in the Phoenix market, and we definitely run across each other.
Yeah, again, you guys have a really smart market. Not that all of them aren't, but you know, guys, this is the year to arm up, make sure that you're a digitally driven mortgage advisor. So Kyle, I look forward to the next conversation, brother. Take care, everybody.
Thanks. Appreciate it.